Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers, trainers, professors and professionals, officers and officials, listeners, learners. The most honorable present person Modiji, respected doctors and directors, honorable ministers and managers, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors. I, Dr. Rakesh from USA, heartily cordially welcome. It is very nice time, nice place, nice section today. We are appreciating English words that help us deal just issues of teaching of English at the elementary stage. A multilingual or multicultural society. Language is one of the unique possessions of human beings. Human society is totally unthinkable without a language. It is the only means of communication of thoughts and ideas, either through speech or writing. It is the life and blood of our culture and an essential part of human life. Man alone is endowed with the faculty of speech language. It is a divine gift of God to man, which distinguishes man from animals. It is through language that a man develops his personality and can enrich the society in which he lives. What is the meaning of language? Language is equal to letters or alphabets plus words plus sentences. Language consists of letters or alphabets, words, idioms, and sentences. It is through language that we learn to think, feel, judge, and express. Language helps the past come to be true in terms of present and helps it to build our own future. The English word language seems to have been derived from the Latin word lingua, which implies tongue. French term langue and parole also bear the impression of language. Language is a complex phenomenon. It includes the first cry of the baby, the most rudimentary form of human speech, and all connections with all fields of education. What is the definition of language? Language is a means of communicating thoughts. Language is a social activity rather than a means of individual self-expression. Oxford English Dictionary defines the language as words and the methods of combining them for the expression and expansion of thought. Sweet defines language as language is the expression of ideas by means of which speech sounds are combined into words. Words are combined into sentences, and combination of sentences gives answering to ideas and thoughts. According to Block and Traeger, language is a system of arbitrary vocal symbols by means of which a social group cooperates. In of Gray, the words of Gray, language is the entire complex of phenomena associated with vocal and auditory communication of emotions and ideas. What is the characteristics of language? What are the main characteristics of language? Let us discuss now. Language is learned. Language is a form of behavior. It is learned and not an automatic process. The infant knows the language. He has to learn it over a long period of time. He begins learning by making various isolated sounds like pa, pa, ba, ba, da, da. Later on, he develops his babbling sounds into speech sounds of his group. This he does by imitation and practice. Thus, language learning is an activity and it has to be learned through efforts. Language is a system. Language is a unique system like human body system, just as body functions through different organs. In the same way, language functions through sounds, words, and structures. Language cannot function without its various aspects. Suppose we want to speak something. For this, we shall have to speak. We shall have to make use of vocabulary, the sounds, and some sentence patterns. We cannot speak or write the language only with vocabulary or structure. Language is a system of systems. Language is a system of systems which includes phonemes, means sounds, morphemes, means words, and syntax, means structure. As body has blood circulatory system, nervous system, and bone structure system. If any one, if any one system fails to operate individually, the language will not be correct. If pronunciation is correct, but order is not correct, it will not be understood. Similarly, a person is trying to express future time but using ed at the end of each verse will not be understood properly. Language is a system of symbols. Language is a system of symbols. Different words used in a language are its symbols. They stand for certain things. Words are various symbols of a language. These symbols have sounds and meanings. For example, the word cup has three sounds: K, A, P. It is symbol of English because the person who used it have given it a meaning. But if we take up the same three sounds like P, A, K, they do form EUC. But that is not a symbol of English language as no meaning is attached to that by persons using the language. Symbols of language are arbitrary. It means that there is no necessary relation between language, between any language item and what it indicates. There is no visual similarity between the symbol man and the actual man. There is no logical or scientific explanation why we call these words so. Language is for communication. All languages are used for the purpose of communication. Without the use of language, we shall not be able to express ourselves. Our ideas can be communicated to others by means of speech sounds. In fact, the purpose of language is to give expression of thoughts and feelings to others. Thus, better communication will take place and it will be all the more satisfying when Johnson rightly says, speech is the instrument of society. Language is a skill subject. Learning of a language is a skill subject. It should be learned like a skill. There is need of a lot of repetition in speaking, reading or writing of the language. Only then it becomes a habit with the person. Language learning requires making strenuous efforts. It is a skill like swimming, singing, dancing, etc. All these skills can be learned only through practice. Language is unique. Each language is unique. It has its own style of functioning. The sounds, vocabulary, and structures of every language have their own speciality. There are geographical and cultural diversities. That is the main reason Why one language differs from the other? Language is related to culture. Each language is the outcome of the culture to which it belongs. Languages are different because their cultures are different. For example, the word pub, the roadside wine stall, is related to a particular English society and culture. No language exists in a vacuum. Each language is the product of the society. Only a couple of centuries ago, choice was written as Choyce and said as Sayed. Language is not static, as language has its roots in culture, which is always changing. Therefore, we cannot say that what is true today will be true tomorrow. In fact, no language on the earth is static. Every language is undergoing a change with the passage of time. For example, in 16th century, the letter K was sounded in the words K and OW. No, knife, knowledge, but now it is considered funny. If the same K is sounded, thus we can safely conclude that language is never static. It is undergoing changes with the passage of time. Language is a habit formation. Language is essentially a habit forming process. This process is made up of habits and one requires continuous practice in the use of language. Language is a powerful tool. It is a very powerful tool for human civilization. Origin of language. What are the theories of the origin of language? There is no certainty about the origin and nature of language. Linguists have propounded several theories regarding the origin of language. Language includes all those verbal and non-verbal actions of human beings that related to communication of ideas, gestures, postures, written and printed symbols, etc. are the basis of the origin of language. The following are the different theories about the origin of language. One is syllabical theory. It propagates that language is originated by gods. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, I am the secret of in all the Vedas. Om is the combination of sounds A plus U plus M. A U M means Om, which is the root of all sounds. It represents the name of the three gods Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. A stands for Brahma, U stands for Vishnu, M stands for Mahesh. Development theory. This theory propounds that Language is the result of evolution and development. Symbolic theory. According to this theory, language is originated on the basis of the different symbols of things, revealing different feelings and thoughts. More theory of e-choice. E-choice theory of or imitative theory. Max Muller is the co-founder of this theory. He says that each substance has its own peculiar ring or sound. The sound of the things were imitated by human beings. Thus, the sound of things is the basis of the origin of language. Ding dong theory. This theory presupposes that language is originated due to the sound symbols of objects. Ding dong is the sound of the bell. Sing song theory or woo woo theory. Professor Hudson. Professor Hudson is the founder of the theory. He says that expression of love song in a low soft voice is the basis for the origin of language. The language of our remote forefathers was ceaseless humming and roaming without pause, but with joy and delight. Contact theory. This theory believes that language sounds are articulate and produced as a result of the need of different senses, for example, hunger, thirst, and sex. Textual and gestural theory. It propagates that language was originated due to expression, revealing through textures and gestures of human beings. Ye, he, ho theory. According to this theory, the basis of the origin of language is labeled sounds. The labels make the sound of ye, he, ho. While they do their labor, it is the expression of laborers with inhalation and exhalation. Tata theory. It is a part of textual and gestural theory. Puhu theory or emotion theory. It is the abrupt expression of sudden sensations and emotions. Integrated theory. This theory, this theory is based upon the integrated approach of the arrow theory. It is based on two factors. One is gesture and two is sound groups. What are the varieties of language? A language can have four varieties. Ideolect, dialect, isogloss, standard language or registered language. What is ideolect? The members of a speech community have extremely uniform attitude to their language, but their actual individual language behavior is very variable. It is true that no two people speak the same variety of a language. Each human speaker has his own idiosyncratic and indexical features. His speech is different in some degree from every other speaker of the language. This language of the individual is called his idiolect. Idiolect is an individual's personal variety of the community language system. What is dialect? Language is a socially learned behavior, yet it is shaped creatively by individuals. It is a social aspect of human life. It is acquired and known as innate skill. Consequently, the variation in language behavior are but natural. In fact, each language has a network of varieties without it. We have varieties of language in the Tamil and so on. Language varieties along three different parameters: space, time, and social class. People of different social, economic, occupational, or cultural groups in the same community show variation in speech. Regional, temporal, and social varieties within a single language is called a dialect. A dialect differs in pronunciation, vocabulary, and to some extent in grammar from other dialects of the same language. A language is a complex network. A language is a complex network of its dialect, just as a dialect is a complex network of idiolects. Isogloss. An isogloss is a line on a linguistic map. It represents the areas in which the language differs with respect to given features. It is a line that marks the boundaries within which a given linguistic feature or phoneme, a given linguistic feature or phenomena can be observed. We have we may think of a bundle of isoglosses roughly coincide that roughly coincide as indicating a dialect boundary. There is no necessary relation between any one isogloss or other. They crash close and diverse and often present a rather bewildering picture. Standard language. Language exists in the form of its dialects. Any dialect is powerful enough to meet all the demands that are made on it. Thus, one dialect can hardly be more eloquent than others. However, when someone dialect of a language comes to enjoy a special prestige, the community as a whole, this dialect is often regarded as standard language. For example, RP of England is usually the most widely accepted variety of that language. The reasons for its wide acceptance may vary from political to economic, commercial, social, historical, and cultural. However, the significant point is that it is the most widely accepted variety of the language. Any deviation from the usage in this dialect is considered substandardness. All other regional and social dialects of a language are no less organized than so-called standard language. Standard language is regarded as more correct, more adequate, or purer than less prestigious dialects. Functions of language. Let us describe the functions of language. Language is the foremost requirement of human. It is a means of communication. It helps in communicating thoughts and feelings. Animals other than man also communicate with one another by means of cries. They utter cries that are expression of fear, pleasure, anger, revenge, etc. Their modes of communication are certainly different than those of man. Man alone uses language for communication. The basis of language is speech, which means the production of meaningful sounds according to a system. Human language is a system. It's different from other modes of communication. The functions of a language can be discussed as below. One is communicative function. Man is a social animal. He has a society in which he lives. Society needs certain norms. These norms require discussion and interaction among its members for setting them. This sharing is the first requirement. Communication may not be meaningful without proper and appropriate language. Communication can be in written form and in oral form. Communicative function of language may also be called informative function. All information is communicated to the masses through either in written form or in oral form. The print media, for example, newspaper, magazines, textbooks, and journal books communicate information in the written form. The TV, computer, internet, movies, and radio are providing information orally and visually. Thus, communication is the most important function of the language. In communicative function, both sender and receiver are equally important. There are many other aspects which should be taken into consideration when communication is made. Expressive function. Man is very talkative. He is in the habit of talking. His mind is always thinking. Whatever ideas come to his mind, he wants to share it with somebody. Language is the outlet for pent up feelings. Therefore, language helps one to express one's thoughts, emotion, ideas, and feelings. It is also helpful to evoke similar feelings among the readers. Constant expression of one's thoughts improves the language skill. The teacher is always expressing his thoughts. The teacher is always expressing his knowledge to the students to have a desirable change in the behavior of the student. Similarly, students require a good knowledge of the language to express them accurately and correctly. Directive function. It is the third function of the language. It helps to cause actions. It can be related stimulus response function. More and more stimulus should be provided to arouse response. Here, Here the receiver is more important. The curiosity of the receiver is allows to speak. The teacher may advise the student to respond and answer the different questions. The function of language is directive. Every language has at least three functions to accomplish. Whenever we whenever we talk of language, then we mean all the four skills of the language. For example, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. What are the misconceptions about language? What are the misconceptions about language? Most people have certain misconceptions about language. Some of them are language are logical. It is the misconception that languages are logical. This misconception is there because the symbols are languages. In fact, all languages are arbitrary. There is no logicality in their spellings and pronunciation. So far as English is concerned, it is all the more arbitrary. The sound for F is presented by different spelling combination in these words. Lieutenant in a far philosophy. The letter U is pronounced differently in each of these words, but Hindi is much more logical and regular. Therefore, it is incorrect to say that languages are completely logical. Languages are unlearnable. Another misconception prevailing about language is that some languages are unreasonable. In fact, every language represents its culture in the best possible manner. English is an excellent language for expressing English culture. We can learn any language of the world. Since all human beings have been gifted with the same vocal cords, they can learn all the languages produced by the same vocal organs. Some languages are better than others. Another misconception prevailing about the language is that some languages are less important than others. In fact, every language represents its culture in the possible manner. English is an excellent language for expressing English culture, but it could be a poor language for expressing Indian cultures. The best language for the latter is regional language. That is Bengali or Marathi, English, though a very developed language will not be able to express what Bengali or Marathi can do for Bengal and Maharashtra. Every language is thus a perfect means of expression of the culture of the people who speak it. Languages are not really comparable. Exact equivalence within a language. Many people think that there are exact equivalents within a language, but they are wrong in thinking so. No two words of a language have the same meaning. We may have words similar in meaning, for example, truth and variety. Some people think that writing is a language, but writing is only its graphical representation. In fact, speech is the primary form of a language. There are many languages which are spoken but not written, like Haryanvi Konkanishasha. Language is a system of arbitrary vocal symbols by means of which a social group cooperates, according to Bloch and Jagger. What is the importance of language? Let us write a note on the importance of language. How to write and what to write. Language is a system of arbitrary symbols by means of which human beings interact and communicate their feelings and thoughts as a member of society. Every human being makes the use of language from his birth to death. The need of a language can be realized best by those who suffer from the loss of speech. The word is gloomy and dismissal. Without speech, one cannot think of society. Without language, we can define the importance of language. Language is the means of expression. It is through language that we express our feelings and thoughts to others. It is the means of expressing emotions and mental concepts of human beings. Language is the medium to exchange experiences and reactions of the people. Without language, man is just like an animal. Language unites the people of the world. Language makes the world a small family. One cannot live in isolation without language. Thus, language is the media of bringing people of the world into close cooperation and unity. Language is the basis of all development. Language plays an important role in the development of fields like science, tech, technology, commerce, etc. The knowledge of different fields is communicated through language from one person to another and from one country to another country. Language is the medium of instruction. Language is the medium of instructions in an educational system. Education of different subjects in schools and colleges is being imparted through the language. Language is a unifying force. Language is the unifying force. It can overthrow imperialism, slavery, and oppression. Thus, freedom is closely related to the freedom of language. The rise of India, Bangladesh, and other countries on the horizon of new nationhood is a proof for the paramount significance of language. Language is a kind or union between speaker and listener. The important function of language is to establish and realize a union between the speaker and the listener. When a listener realizes the feelings and thoughts of a speaker, a state of aesthetic sense and generalization of feelings and thoughts of speaker or writer takes place. What is the importance of English language? Let us write not on the importance of English language. Every language is the pride of the people who use it. No doubt, English is the language of the English. English is the language of the English. But it is a hard fact that this language is used almost in all the countries of the world. So far India is concerned, it occupies an important place. It holds a significant value in every sphere of life in our country. When whether social, political, academic, cultural, and economic. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru rightly said, English language is ours by a historic necessity. English occupies an important place in India today. Wherever we go in the country, we find that it is used very much in every sphere of our life. In bazaars, we find the majority of the boards hanging in front of the shops are in English. Advertisements were displayed at the local points of different cities are in English. In the cinema halls, in the hotels and restaurants, in the offices of administration, local, regional or central, almost every record is in English. English is frequently used at homes, in the streets, in the bazaars, in business, in studies, in routine talks. Thus English holds a good position in our life. Even many illiterate people are heard using words of English in their day-to-day routine of life. It is likely to say that English has been playing and will continue to play a significant role in India's national life. It has a unique importance in our country. It has played a very important role in building modern India. It has become one of major languages of the world, and Indians can neglect its study at their own peril. It is taught and learned with affection and love in our country. In, it enjoys a privileged position. English is not only the national language of England, but it is also an international language. It can be called the language of the world civilization. None can underestimate, none can underestimate the importance of language, the importance of English. Raja Gopalacharya said, English language is the greatest gift of Goddess Saraswati to India. Pandit Nehru well said, English is our major window to the modern world. It is a gateway to our culture. According to Sumita Kumar Chatterjee, a vital contact with English is a fundamental necessity even for the development of our Indian language, including Hindi, and for modernizing them. What is the brief history of English language in India? Let us give a brief history of English language in India. Also, describe its position before independence and after independence of India. In our country, English was introduced with the coming up of the East India Company. Initially, its role was in trade and commerce of the country, but gradually it occupied a very important place in the political and educational life of the country. Lord Macaulay desired to produce through English education a class of person Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinion, in morals, and in intellect. Lord William Bentinck confirmed it when he said that the great object of the British government in India ought to be the promotion of European literature and science among the natives of India, and that all the funds appropriated for the purpose of education would be best employed on English education alone. Thus, English dominated the studies curriculum during the English period in India. Before independence, it was the region of the English people of India. Naturally, the English language enjoyed a privileged position then. During the pre-independence period, English language was the queen of languages. English enjoyed the topmost position during first language lingua franca of the trade. It was considered to be the queen of the language. It was the vehicle of thought and activity in every walk of life. It was the pride of all. Medium of instruction at different levels. English used to be the medium of instruction at school and college levels. In some of the elementary schools also. English was used as a medium of instruction. Generally, people love to study different subjects through this language. Englishmen teaching English. The study of English language was compulsory to all those who joined the school. That is why our elders speak English very nicely. The fundamental reason of it was that they were taught mostly by Englishmen. All subjects, whether English, history, or geography, were generally taught by the Englishmen. Thus, the students were under the impact of the Englishmen for a good deal of time. They listened to spoken English of the native speakers. That is the reason why the elderly persons whose schooling careers belong to that era speak very good English. Introduction of English from the first day of schooling. The study of English was introduced on the day a child entered the school. Everybody was proud of it because the study of this language was considered a passport for employment. Thus we find that English was of great importance in India before the freedom, but with the passage of time, some changes have taken place in its position, particularly after independence. Position of English after independence. India became free of English rule in 1947. The English people left India for good. The whole administration, the language policy, etc. came into the hands of Indian authorities. The very question regarding the place of English in India became controversial. Some leaders argued that English should be uprooted from the country, whereas some others favored the retention of English in free India. Mahatma Gandhi said, "It is my considered opinion that English education, in the manner it has been given, has emasculated the English educated Indians. It has put a severe strain upon the Indian students and made us limited and made us imitators." But others like Sri Radha Gopalacharya said that English should be retained in the country. Their considered opinion was weak in our anger and the hatred against the British people should not sow away the baby means English with the bathwater means English people. Maulana Abul Kalam said at a press conference, so far as general studies are concerned, it was never my intention to suggest that there will be any falling in the standard of English. In the words of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, 150 years of intimate contact has made English an integral part of our educational system, and this cannot be changed without injury to the cause education in India. In addition to this, English has today become one of the major languages of the world, and Indians can neglect its study at the risk of loss to themselves. I'm convinced that in the future as well, the standard of teaching English should be maintained at as high a level as possible. In 1950, when the Constitution of India was framed, it was unanimously decided to continue with English as the official language of the country for 15 years. During this period, efforts were made to develop Hindi, the national language of the country. Thus, it was hoped to replace English by Hindi in the course of time. But there was a great opposition of Hindi by the people living in the southern part of the country. The result was that in 1963, the parliament passed a bill according to which English was declared to be the associate official language of India for an indefinite period. In 1968, the national policy on education adopted by the Government of India stressed special emphasis need to be laid on the study of English and other international languages. World knowledge is growing at a tremendous pace, especially in science and technology. India must not only keep up with this growth, India must not only keep up this growth but also make her own significant contribution to it. For this purpose, study of English deserves to be specially strengthened. English continues to be the link between various states of India. Let us describe the position and importance of English language in a free, multilingual and developing country like India. In the 21st century, the importance of English is more than what it used to be in British India. Let us discuss it. English is an important language in India. English has dominated the teaching learning program in India from the beginning. It has definitely enjoyed a privileged position. A study of the subject in English was always a point of inspiration. English is not only a national language of the English, it is an international language. It may be called the language of the world civilization. None can underestimate its importance. Even M.K. Gandhi said, I hold this knowledge as a second language to be indispensable for specified Indians to have to represent the country's interest in the international domain. I regard the English language as an open window for peeping into Western thought and science. Thus, Gandhiji accepted the importance of English for the selected few who are to hold the region of the motherland. Following points show clearly the importance of English in our country. English as a link language. English is a language which links together different states of India. In the absence of English, a person from Kerala is not able to communicate with a person from Punjab. Moreover, English links us with the outer world. It is only through English that we have established social, economical, cultural and political relations with other countries of the world. English as a passport to employment. English as a passport to employment. The knowledge of English is the passport to successful employment in both the private and public sectors of the Indian economy. The knowledge of English is very much essential to get employment. Fluency in this language is considered to be an index of intelligence and cultivation. Educational importance. English is the medium of instruction in the public school, technical, medical, law and other institutions. Higher education in science, medicine, and engineering technology is not possible without English. The fact is that now English is a language of science and culture. English is a language of administration. Almost at every level of administration, we find that English alone is being used. It has been the official language in our country. It has been declared as the associate official language of the Union for an indefinite period by an Act of Parliament in 1963. So English dominates in our country at the different levels of administration. English as a window to the modern world, but in Jawaharlal Nehru's words, that English is our major window of the world is quite relevant. It is through the study of English that we can peep into what is happening around the world in different areas of life. Our country cannot afford to close this window because it gives us the true picture of life, political, social, cultural, agricultural, etc. English as a language of thought. English is the language of thought. One cannot be, one cannot do legal business without the knowledge of English. English is used not only at the Supreme Court but also at the high courts and district courts. English as a language of trade, commerce and industry. It is a language of international trade, commerce and industry. English in social life. It is a means of social and intellectual communication in the highly educated sections of society. Even the invitation cards of marriages, parties and social ceremony are mostly printed in English in our daily conversation. Also, we use a large number of English words. English as a language of library. English is a library language. It is a key to the storehouse of the knowledge. It is only through this language that students can be imparted maximum knowledge. English as an international language. English is not only the language of different countries, but also a language which is spoken and understood all over the world. It is the first language in the UK, the USA, Canada and Australia, and the second language of India, Africa, Russia, Pakistan, etc. It promotes better understanding and sympathy among different nations of the world. It is an international language. English is a rich and inspiring literature. English language has vast and inspiring literature. There is no other language in which so much was ever written. English literature is unrivaled both in the quantity of thought and in the quality of style. On the basis of these observations, we can say that the importance of English in our national life and educational system cannot be denied by anyone. It enjoyed a privileged position in our country in the past. Now also its position is in no way less compared to other languages. English is our major window on the modern world. Let us comment on it. Nehru's words, English is our major window on the modern world, are quite apt. English informed us about advancement taking place throughout the world. It is only through this language that we have distilled the essence of modern knowledge in all fields of human activity. Anyone who can read English can keep in touch with the whole world without leaving his own house, as the French says. In fact, English is the only through which we can see the progress being made in the scientific, technological, agricultural, literary, political, social and economic field in the world. In short, knowledge of English helps us to keep in touch with the world's ever increasing explosion of knowledge and technology. The study of English by Indians serves the purposes of a window, just as we can peep through the window and see what is happening all around us. The same way, we can come to know that progress being made by the people of different nations of the world through the study of English. It is a highly developed language. It mirrors to us everything in the true sense. Our country cannot afford to close the window because it gives us true picture of various aspects of life, political, social, religious and cultural issues. Dear friends, next we will discuss English as a link language in India. Now let us discuss an overview of language teaching. As we have discussed a few definitions of languages, different scholars have given different definitions of language. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the listeners, all my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students, scholars, teacher, trainers, professor, professionals, officials, most honorable present Pransu Modiji, respected doctors and